is Emily, and I want to be sharing my story with you today about my journey that I've been on with cancer. The reason I'm doing this is because if I can help anybody or touch anybody's heart or help anyone understand or see things better, I would love for that. For the longest time, I felt very private about things, especially because I had quit working where I was working, and my mom still works there and had started working there, and people started talking about me and spreading rumors and lies and things and talking about, well, have you heard about Emily? And I felt like at the beginning I didn't really get to have my privacy while I was still, this is the very beginning, I was still figuring out like what I'm doing and where I'm going, and like struggling with a lot of different things, and people just found my health and my well-being their gossip topic. And so for the longest time I was like, this is my no one can know. And now that I've been a lot better and going forward a lot, I'm like, you know what, like, screw that. I want to talk about this, and in a way that's how I can take the power away from those people who initially decided that they were gonna pull some shady shit on me. I have talked with some of the people who kind of did me dirty. I've mended some of those situations, but I really just felt like, wow, so I'm going through this huge medical thing and you're just gonna talk about it like it's your business, like you have the place or the right to do so? No. So I have the right and the place to do so, and I'm owning that, and I want to share this with people. So bear with me. I'm a rambler, and I will try to edit as much as I can to make this as painless as possible. So bear with me, but this is my journey. This kind of goes a lot farther back than just the most recent diagnosis. About almost 3 years ago now, I had my colon removed because they found hundreds and hundreds of polyps in my colon due to a genetic mutation, and I was diagnosed with familial adenomatous polyposis, which basically means, so you have 26 chromosomes and you get half and half from your parents. Well, they assume that my parents just gave me one full screwed up gene. So I have an APC gene mutation that causes precancerous things to grow in my GI tract. So they removed the entirety of my colon and connected my small intestine to my rectum. So that's kind of where it starts, because that was to prevent the inevitability of colon cancer. And so moving forward, we have still been trying to figure out if this cancer is connected. There is the theory that it just spread before we got to the colon in time, and that's the reason why I have this. There's the theory that this is just unrelated. My oncologist actually works with a professional woman who specializes in my type of cancer, which I'll get to, at UCSF, and I will get to my experience with UCSF and all of that stuff. After going to UCSF, I was able to kind of track things a little better. She basically, the doctor there asked me the question, when was the last time that you felt genuinely healthy, happy, good? Again, we'll loop back to UCSF, but that's what kind of caused me to stop and think and really think about when was the last time I really actually felt like I was okay. And so that's where we start. So we start in January of 2019. I'm feeling great. School's about to start. Super excited. I had just got back from a vacation that I took that I planned out like all by myself and like went on and had a good time and got to see an old friend and make new friends and stuff like that. So everything's going really well. I'm taking research methods for my psychology degree. I'm taking speech, which is just a requirement that I put off until, you know, last second because who wants to do speech? And I'm taking a fitness class called Guts and Butts Workout, and we start the class with an assessment of just where you are, and I felt really good about where I was when we started that assessment, and things are like on the up and up. Things are great. By February, I started experiencing some fatigue, which I just kind of chalked up to, oh, I'm taking a morning class, and then I'm taking an afternoon class that's this intensive workout class. No matter what, I'm not prepared for my workout class. So I would get up, I would get coffee, I'd get breakfast, I would eat breakfast in my class because it was like a 3-hour class before I had my 1-hour workout class. So I would drink my coffee, I'd have water, I'd have food, and like I felt like no matter how much coffee I drank, no matter how much breakfast I ate, no matter how much protein or carbs or whatever that I was ingesting, I was not like prepared for this workout class, and I slowly start declining. So in March, the fatigue increases. I can barely get out of bed in the morning. There were a lot of times my teacher had canceled class, and I was like, sweet, I wasn't gonna go anyways. Yeah, not proud of that, but when you can't get out of bed, you can't get out of bed. I'm having abdominal pain. Also, I have not had a checkup on my colon situation. So I would go in every 6 months for a sigmoidoscopy and endoscopy. So they'd go into my stomach and into my rectum and just make sure if there are any polyps, they take them out. I haven't been scheduled for that. So abdominal pain, not up on the oscopies, and I'm starting to feel a lump in my abdomen. So I just kind of linked all of these problems to either, they just haven't scheduled me for my checkups, which the system is supposed to notify them, like, contact Emily because she needs this, and then they contact me and we schedule it. They hadn't done that, and so I guess I could have been on them about that, but they're not fun. So I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna wait a year this time because they didn't find very much, so they felt they could go further out. So I also started just, I'm probably just depressed because I've dealt with depression before in my life, and I get super tired and all I want to do is sleep, and I don't want to get up, and like that's been a common thing. So I'm probably just depressed, but high functioning depressive, which is I consider myself, when I'm going through these bouts of depression, to be high functioning because I would go to school, I would go to work, I would do the things that I needed to do. But one day I'm like, okay, this is concerning given my history, and I call an advice nurse through my insurance company. So on March 12th, I obtained an office visit with my physician. The advice nurse didn't think that there was anything super concerning, so she just scheduled an appointment for me with my doctor, my physician. When I get there, I waited a little bit in the waiting room for her, and she came in and super rushed, super like, what's going on? And I'm like, abdominal pain, and feel this, do you feel that? That's weird, because I would go around work to my close coworkers and be like, do you feel this? Like, this isn't right? Like, feel that. And they're like, you should get that checked out. I was like, it doesn't feel right. And I told her, like, I feel a lump in my abdomen. And she has me, like, lift my shirt up. And she feels around the area that I'm telling her that I'm feeling this, and she's like, I don't feel anything. There's no lump. Even when I look at you, like, a lump would be protruding. There's nothing. There's not a lump. It's scar tissue from an abdominal surgery that I had down my stomach. And she, like, rushes me out of the office as quick as she can, and, like, it was so completely clear that she, like, just was like, you don't have a problem, go. And so that was really annoying to me because I felt like she didn't really listen to me and she didn't really try. Yeah, so I email my surgeon who did my abdominal surgery because I'm like, he would know if this is scar tissue. He cut me open. I email him, hey, can I get a second opinion on this? And he's like, of course, call my office. We'll get you set up. I never called. I'm actually glad that I didn't set up an appointment, just because of how this all plays out. May 3rd, my dad and I fly out to meet my grandparents and my uncle for my cousin's wedding in Ontario, California. I started having these symptoms getting worse, more abdominal pain. My bowel movements are irregular, and I've got blood in my stool, and I have nausea, and I'm not able to eat as much as I was eating before, and all of these really concerning issues that started on like May 1st or 2nd, but really got bad once I got to Ontario. And I was like, well, I had the hotel breakfast, so maybe that's the problem. And oh, well, we went to a Mexican restaurant, and maybe it's just not settling with my stomach well. So my cousin gets married on May 4th because they're huge, like, Star Wars people. It was pretty cool. They didn't, like, overdo it, but they had elements of Star Wars in their wedding. It was well done. You could tell that they were excited, but they didn't go overboard. So May 4th comes around. I go to the wedding. They have a bar there, and like, I just want something with a little bit of alcohol that's fruity enough for me to drink. And like, you know, there are a lot of adults who are like, give me vodka tonic. Just like, I just want like pineapple juice and happy fruity stuff because I'm a wimp. So she makes me this really good drink, and it's just not settling right, I felt like. And I was like, well, maybe it's the food at the way, like I kept making excuses, like it can't be something's wrong with me. It's got to be like, oh, the food's just not settling well. Oh, the alcohol just, whatever. I only got one drink. So, continuing on through May 7th, this continues. I have irregular bowel movement, nausea, everything's getting slightly worse and worse and worse. And then finally, you know, I'm back in town. My mom and I had made Mother's Day plans. I said, hey, it's gonna be a bitch to go anywhere for lunch on Sunday, Mother's Day. Let's do lunch on Saturday. Let's get food on Saturday and hang out. And then Sunday, you can come over, we'll just chill, yada blada. So May 11th, it's the Saturday before Mother's Day. More blood in the stool, severe abdominal pain, constipation, irregular bowel movements. Like, if I was going at all, it was like tiny bits, even though I felt like I needed to like explode. Like, I went to lunch with my mom and I got like chicken fried steak and hash browns and like all this good food. And again, I'm like, oh, food's not settling well, and I couldn't really finish everything. And my mom's talking to me about these symptoms I'm having, and she's getting worried. And so we go home. I'm like, oh, I just feel sick. Like, I feel heavy and bleh and bloated, and I feel like I have to go to the bathroom, but I can't. And she's like, you should really, like, you should call the advice nurse.